Alright, I'm going to give a speed run on what I've been up to in regards to the Ford 9-inch axle swap on my 6.4 Impala. This is what we got. It's like 19 degrees outside. Axle is in place. Got a wheel mocked up. Drum brake mocked up. And there's an axle under here. Ooh. Wait. There we go. There's an axle under here. Look at that. Isn't that nifty? So I had jack stands underneath it. But I got everything in the place width-wise, dialed in the wheelbase. And then I tacked these pieces of metal in place via the frame in order to hold it in place. I calm myself down in the pinion angle. It might be a little shy though. It's only reading point. It depends on where you put it. It changes. So that's where I put it in. Like 1 degree, basically about 1 degree, 1.4, somewhere in there, because that's all downhill that the drivetrain is up front. So I just kind of matched it. But of course, the bottom's lumpy and it's being weird. So that's that. So I decided it's dialed in. So the next thing I'm doing, is I've been fine tuning the cope on these brackets just to kind of dial those in. That one's a little gappy, but that'll be alright. And that one's about the same. So I need to figure out, the bushing wiggle on these before I tack them in. So, and then make sure that I got room for my backing plates to go on, because that'll come out probably about right here. What else? Okay, so I have some misalignment joints, some Heims with misalignment joints up here. Come on, okay, that's good enough. So I got one of these on each side, so I can start mocking up this Wishbone goodness. And then I've got this uni ball back here that I'm trying to see if I can use instead of like a regular Heims joint. So the only thing I gotta do is see if I can get it down a little bit farther so it sits like below the top of the axle. Let's see if I can get it there. So I can get it below the top of the pig. That way I've got some more travel for suspension so that doesn't hit the bottom of the trunk. But I have to check what they call the instant center to see where the invisible line from this bushing to these bushings go, and make sure that lines up somewhere around the front of the car, so the feel of the suspension isn't super mushy. It's going to want to feel that way with it having hydraulics anyway. So I'll probably mimic it similar to that. You can see about the alignment of where that bushing was at the top of the rear end. But you figure the 9-inch rear end is, probably about an inch bigger. So that's pretty much where we are in regards to that. Also, yeah, this is supposed to be kind of level. It's level-ish. They're a little downhill. So that's another thing you got to keep in mind when you're setting up your suspension. I got to look in the suspension Bible book just to double check my homework, but it should be fine. It's not a exact science. I don't know. What else? What am I doing next? I think what I'm doing is that Uniball. I'm doing like a Clevis style attachment for the Wishbone on the tail end of it. So I'm gonna start making some cardboard templates to figure out how to attach that. Also, I've got some 1.5-inch tubing So I got to get with one of my tubing bending buddies, probably Bonafide. That's probably the guy that I'm going to get with because our schedules mesh together. Buddy Sean's got a tubing bender too, but he deals with roll cages, so his diameters are a little bit bigger. So I'll get with Dave. We can bend some pieces up, and then I can bring them out here and brainstorm. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna finish this and start doing some cardboard automated drafting or construction paper, whatever. I'm gone.